This is the Creality Ender 2 Pro, and this printer is small but dangerous. And I know what you're thinking. The Ender series didn't start with the famous beloved Ender 3. No, it didn't. It started with this little printer, the Ender 2 Pro. It has a very small build volume, more like the A1 Mini, but it is still a great printer. This printer has a build volume of 165 by 165 by 180 millimeters, which is very small, but if you're on a budget, it's a great printer. Coming in at about $165, and you're just getting into the hobby, it's the perfect starting one, except for the fact that not many people have them. So if you do have a problem with it, it's very hard to get spares for. One pro of this printer being so small is it's easy to move around. You can just grab it by the handle and pick it up. And the spool holder also folds to the side, so you can get it out of the way when wanting to move it around. It can print at 100 millimeters a second, slightly faster than some of the original Enders. Although I've been running it at 60 millimeters a second and been getting very good results. Another nice thing about this printer is the fact that on the side it has a little drawer. And in this, you can keep all of your little spares for the printer, like some nozzles, which I do recommend that you keep a few spares of those. Another common problem that people have been having with this printer is dents in the build plate. I don't know why or what Creality did to this build plate, but it tends to dent very easily. But one pro is that it comes standard with a flexible build plate, which not many of the Ender series did. A lot of them came with the glass build plates, and those are a mission to clean, at least in my opinion. One very irritating thing about this printer is that it does not auto level, so you do have to manually take a piece of paper and level each part of the build plate. This is a big con for me, because that takes an annoying amount of time. And if you want to switch out the build plate, you have to redo that whole process. While this printer doesn't print at speeds like the K2, or of quality quite that good, it is still very good quality. And here you can see a test cube that I did, and the detail is very good for an Ender printer. I'm super happy with how it came out. As I said earlier, these printers are actually not that easy to get your hands on, since they were released quite a long time ago. But if you're really desperate, you can find a few suppliers in South Africa, and obviously if you are overseas, the official Creality website has them for sale there. This printer was released in 2021, and nowadays in South Africa you can get it for as little as 2,600 Rand if you get it at the right time, from the right person. And that is a very low barrier to entry for 3D printing, as in South Africa most printers are priced much higher than they are in the US. This printer, that is not the case though. As it was released 4 years ago now, it does print on a micro SD card, and you cannot print through the Creality cloud. And it also does not have a touch screen, but one of the original dial screens that you can press down on. It uses much of the same hardware as the rest of the Ender series, especially to keep costs down. It does have a heated build plate, stock standard, which is nice, but it does not have a filament runout sensor. It is very, very similar to the rest of the Ender series. Most of the parts are the exact same, just less of them, like there's only one of these X-axis rails, and it just moves along, where most Enders have two of them. But this does not mean that the printer is not powerful and is not a good option for your first printer. But do be warned, it is a bit more of a tinkering printer, as are the rest of the Ender series. A lot of them you can't just plug in and print. You have to do a lot of tinkering to get the right settings, use the right speeds, and it is not as easy as the K series or the Bambu Lab series. So you must be ready to open up the bottom of your printer and fix a few things. It is definitely a starter printer, and I would use it for probably about 6 months, depending how much time you spend with your printers, before you should upgrade to something a bit bigger and faster and more expensive. But as a starter, I think it's great, and I can really recommend it. to anyone wanting to get into the hobby.